Hello, everyone. Just want to make sure we are live. So if you can see and hear me, let me know in the chat below. Looks like we are live. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start. There is a delay between my stream and Facebook, just so you know. Hello and welcome to Waves of Healing Music Video Podcast. You can catch us here on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Also catch the recordings if you can't be here when we stream. I'm Gary Chatham. I'm a transformational life coach, wellness coach, Reiki master, and a musician as well. And you can find my website at garychatham.com. I also do another video podcast, Waves of Transformation, and it has its own Facebook group and also streams on my YouTube channel. In that one, we talk about body, mind, spirit wellness, personal growth, and spiritual growth. And the reason for this podcast is music and sound healing is becoming more popular and is recognized in mainstream culture and music therapy, and they are becoming an important part of a specialty in counseling and mental health. My vision with this podcast is to bring you not only new music, but several classics in the genres of new age, chill out, meditation, chanting, sacred music, and some uplifting pop as well, so it won't all be mellow, meditative music. If you've noticed, most music podcasts and YouTube channels about music don't include the music. If they do, it's about 10 seconds long in little clips. They do this because they're not licensed to play the music, and licensing is very expensive. Since we're not licensed to play the music for our podcast, please click on the YouTube playlist in the comments below. You should be able to hear both me and the music as we go through, and you'll need to open a second browser window for that playlist. So I will drop that in the Facebook chat right here. Hey, Mark. As I move my glasses around here. There's the playlist for tonight. Also, I will put links to each CD in Amazon in the chat as well, so you can go there and get the music for yourself and support the artist at the same time. So please do that. And this, if you come in the middle, this may be a little bit funny just because we stop after each song to talk about it, but we're silent. I'm silent during playback when everyone's listening to the music. So it looks like I'm quiet and nothing's happening, but we're really listening to the music. So we have on first up tonight is something kind of a treat. It's a song called Beat Sequence. And maybe some of you have heard of Brian Eno. Eno basically started the entire ambient music genre in the 70s and 80s, which led to the New Age genre after that. And other artists were creating the New Age genre as well. He started in the seminal rock band Roxy Music in 1972, which is one of my very favorite bands. He then launched a solo career and went on to produce many well-known artists and albums. And you'll be surprised to learn that this album that the song is from, called Original Soundtracks 1, is a studio album recorded by rock band U2 and Brian Eno under the pseudonym Passengers as a side project. Released on the 6th of November, 1995, the album is a collection of songs written mainly for imaginary films that don't really exist, the exceptions being for Ghost in the Shell, Miss Sarajevo, and Beyond the Clouds. Owing to Eno's involvement as a full songwriting partner and the album's experimental nature, the name Passengers was chosen to distinguish it from U2's albums. It was commercially unsuccessful by that band's standards and got mixed reviews, but I think it's got some great music on it. Guest musicians on the record also included Italian opera singer Luciano Pavarotti on Miss Sarajevo and producer Howie B, who would go on to co-produce U2's following album Pop in 1997, which is also one of my very favorite U2 albums. According to Eno, near the end of the recording sessions for U2's 1993 album Zeropa, The band had kind of hit a stone wall creatively and were getting obsessive about small details. At that point, Eno suggested the group do some improv, quote, just turn the tape on and play. So we were working with a broad brush rather than the one hair brushes we'd been using. It was designed to loosen us up a little. The resulting recording sessions were productive enough that Eno advocated the band undertake more. And after they completed their Zoo TV tour in 1993, December, the band returned to the studio with no particular agenda or project on which to work. And their original intention was to record a soundtrack for Peter Greenaway's album, or Peter Greenaway's 1996 film, The Pillow Book. Though the plan did not come to fruition with that, Eno suggested they continue recording for imaginary films. The result was about 25 hours of recorded experimentation that produced the original Soundtracks 1 album. Part of the group's intent in creating original Soundtracks 1 has been to make a quote-unquote nighttime record. Lead vocalist Bono says, quote, it's been like a set on the bullet train in Tokyo. Every record has a location and a place where you enjoy listening to it, whether that be a bedroom or a club, and this record location is a fast train. It's slow motion music, though. It has an odd sense of speed in the background, unquote. He also noted that when creating works for soundtracks, the visual suggestion for the music is more important than the story told by the lyrics. With this in mind, the band tried to create visual music when recording, continuing a trend that began with their 1993 song Zeropa. So let's listen to Beat Sequence, which is the first album on the list here. Well, give me your comments about how you liked that song. The next song is one of the one or two more interesting upbeat songs I try to have in every podcast. The next song is from another favorite album of mine from a few years back, 1995, 1994. Did not find this one on Amazon, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. This song, Black Light, crosses genres, really belonging in the acid jazz or dub category. And the album mixes jazz, dub, funk, and Indian music. It's from an album called Hallucination Engine from 1994 from a band called Material. And Material is really a one-man project, the work of Bill Laswell with guest artists, some of whom are very well known, including Wayne Shorter, who plays saxophone in Weather Report, one of the seminal jazz rock fusion bands. And he plays sax on this album, or on this song, was also a co-composer. Other notable musicians on the album include Bernie Worrell on electric piano and Hammond B3 organ, Bootsy Collins on space bass, if you know Bootsy, and beat poet William S. Burroughs reading his poem Words of Advice for Young People appears on one cut. This song, or the other song that's featured is Mantra, was issued as a 12-inch and CD single in 1993, and they issued a couple more 12-inch DJ singles in 1994. And also DJ remixes came out on an album called Axiom Ambient Lost in Translation album. So I put the link for the Amazon Axiom album on there because I was not able to find this album on Amazon. The song Cucumber Slumber is also on this album, and it's a cover of a Weather Report track from 1994's album Mysterious Traveler, which I know Mark and a couple other people will recognize. So let's go ahead and listen to Black Light. Well, what did you think of that? Mark Smith said he likes the sax. Next song is a new one. So everything else tonight is from the last few months, released in the last half of last year. And the next song is Blue World with an artist called Koke, an accomplished piano player from a young age in his homeland of Mexico. Koke fell in love with the New Age sound in his 20s and became a composer of both classical piano and intensely moving synthesizer compositions. And this is his first album on the Eversound label. Koke presents Blue World, an album of masterful depth and complexity, and has some minimalistic parts and interlocking melodies. So it's a cool new age music album. It's also a very cool video. Um, the tracks kind of flow together, even though they're definitely separate compositions, and they take the listener on a journey through scenic woods, dark forests, before reaching a luminous destination at the end of the album. But this is the first opening song, so let's listen to Blue World. And that was Blue World by Koke. Next up is a song by Kirsten Copley called Persephone Rising. And Kirsten Copley put out her newest album called Around the Sun. And it goes back to a traditional instrument with the harp. So she features the harp. Most of it is solo harp. It pulls the listener into its orbit, and it sounds like Andreas Wollenweider, but a little style, if you're familiar with him. Around the Sun is her first album as a composer, and she's based in Nashville, New York City. Her debut album, Dream World, was released in August 2001, and in May 2019, she did a cover album with 12 different hit singles featuring songs from Tom Petty to Fleetwood Mac to Radiohead to Rihanna to Lady Gaga. And she received her Bachelor and Master of Music degrees from Indiana University in Bloomington and is currently a professor of harp at Vanderbilt in Nashville. She's also collaborated with many hip hop, R&B, and pop. I can't even talk tonight. Pop icons, including Enya, on the Dark Sky Island performance of 2016 with her, and she's also worked with Jay-Z, Beyonce Knowles, Kanye West, Alicia Keys, and many more, which you really wouldn't expect that from a harpist. But one of my favorite pieces on the album is a short, strong but gentle song called Persephone Rising. And Persephone is an ancient Greek myth of about Persephone and how she became the rightful wife of Hades and queen of the underworld. And it's a story that still inspires about 3,000 years later. And it's really cool how the harp brings Persephone's beauty to life. So this video is a little bit different in that it's filmed at a live performance. It's shorter, so you will hear some background noise and applause from the audience. So let's listen to Persephone Rising. So that was Angela Copley, and the next song is by another new artist, Michelle Kiershi. I don't know if I'm saying these correctly or not. The song is called Above Us, and the album title is Above Us, comma, Within, and it's based on a quote from poet George Eliot, where she said, "After all, the true seeing is within." Listening to this new album, Within, it kind of reminds me of that quote, and I think that's what Michelle Kiershi was going for. It contains nothing less than 24 songs that capture an atmosphere of emotion, ambition, or intention, and Within is filled with deja vu moments, so you don't have to look at the names of the pieces to understand what they're all about. So it finds a way into your heart with the meaning that I think Michelle Kiershi was going for. She's a composer, multi-instrumentalist, and classically trained guitarist. She debuted in 2012 with the album Of Light. Other recent albums are Sage from 2019, Guitar Sojourner from 2019, and Silver Chord from 2018. So she had two in 2019. Within is released on the Mindstream music label. And Michelle says, quote, "My process evolved from one of painting different timbres on a sound canvas to being more of a sculptor, shaping music only with my guitar, carving from some marble, some from the ethers, and the shape of each piece reveals something special I found within." And that was my journey for the album, Within. So the album contains different short canvas type videos. This YouTube is also shorter and filmed at her home, obviously because of COVID. So it's a little bit different. So let's listen to Above Us. So we've been listening to Above Us by Michelle Kiershi. And if I set my devices correctly here. Next is an album called Hemispherica Portalis. and it's a debut collaboration album from Deborah Martin and Dean DeBenedictis. So these are all recent releases in the last few months in the New Age category. Performing under the name Desensitized, these two veteran ambient electronic sound musicians have joined forces to craft a thought-provoking work of art that combines both ancient and futuristic moods into a captivating world of sound, and kind of creates images of undiscovered realms. And I think we'll see that with this song. It was released September 25th, 2020. And go back and quote Brian Eno about ambient music. Ambient music is intended to induce calm and space to think, Eno said. So I think that fits this album, Desensitized album, really well. This album contains nothing less than 7 song portals that lead to unique destinations. And it's kind of like a sci-fi novel in that they're world building on a massive scale. So this type of ambient music also feels kind of experimental, but not so much with this album. So the original Under the Moon is the name of originally Under the Moon is the name of Deborah Martin's breakthrough album by herself, released in 1995, and she has released 10 albums so far under her own name, and she's also worked with other artists, including the Hemisync project. And if you're not familiar with Hemisync, they put out music meditation albums that are designed to relax your brain waves. So she's contributed 4 albums to the Hemisync series. So in terms of inspiration, Deborah says, I simply close my eyes and imagine what it would be like to exist in another time, another place, and then the music just comes. And Dean DeBenedictis has also recorded under his own name 3 albums so far, the latest being Salvaging the Present in 2015. And he's also recorded albums under the name Surface 10. So some of these ambient artists use different, more abstract names too. So he's also played with groups such as Brand X, which I know somebody here will recognize, and the Stratus Ensemble. And Desensitized is a genuine ambient album bringing the best of not only one genre of music together, but many. So Hemispherica Portalis means portal of 1,000 years. And this is the opening album of the title. So let's listen to Hemispherica Portalis. So that was Hemispherica Portalis from Desensitized. And my Facebook went down and crashed. I don't know if anybody else is having trouble or not. If you are having trouble, leave me a comment below and let me know. Our next song, Deep Dream, is the first shamanic flute journey I've ever taken with this artist, Bodhi. And he has 14 albums available on the Bandcamp website. And he is offering all the albums in one package right now at a discount if anybody's interested. So his name is Bodhi Shechko. He does flutes, keyboards, bells, chimes, charango, guitar, and drums. And Christopher Krotsky on drums, Jen Rund on bass, Spencer Nielsen on didgeridoo. So the first and title track is this one, Deep Dream. It's the mystical sound of his flute and the subtle drone of the didgeridoo taking you on a meditative shamanic journey. And it comes as no surprise that Bodhi's been working with sound meditation, sound healing, and sacred sound journeys for over 40 years. Around the globe, his music is used in yoga studios, health spas, and health practitioners' offices. And this beautiful combination of flute, drums, nature sounds, you'll hear crickets and water, bells, keyboards, guitar, and bass, and so on is what makes the music exceptional. So I really like when artists combine music with nature sounds. Paul Adams has done that before too. So it appeals to your senses and draws you into a meditative experience. So let's go ahead and listen to Deep Dream. Well, I guess I talked longer tonight than I thought I was. So it's about 8 o'clock. So we're going to wrap up the show for tonight and save these last two songs on the playlist for next time. So Lemongrass and the other one we'll do next time. So thank you for coming. And if you're listening to the live stream, please still leave your comments in the section below if you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook. Let me know what you thought of the songs. And I know this podcast is a little bit different because we hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Getting all my tech going here. So we'll wrap up for tonight. Please leave your comments in the section below. If you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, let me know how you liked it. And we will see you next time, which should be 2 weeks from tonight on Thursday night. So apologize for the little technical glitch here. Facebook was freezing up for me, so I opened it up on another monitor in another window to see what was happening. So have a good evening and let me know how you liked everything. Have a good night.